Hello, and welcome to another episode of Messages from a Bilingual Heart. I am on a journey to unlock my heart, unlock my voice, reclaim my languages, and rediscover what it's like to live from the heart instead of being so stuck in our heads. And so I've created this podcast in an attempt to unveil messages that want to escape and come out of my heart without all the planning and noise blocking these messages in my head. So here I am once again spilling my heart out for whoever cares to listen. If you are listening, I hope you find some source of inspiration through my rambling. Regardless, for me, it's so far. This is my 11th episode, and already I'm feeling a lot more confident in letting myself just flow with whatever I want to say. And already, in 11 episodes, not quite 11 days because I have skipped some days, but I've already seen the difference in myself, in my social interactions. Already I can say that I'm starting to trust myself to express what I want to say, communicate from the real me in a way that I know I have done in my life, but maybe not with everyone, and maybe not in situations where I didn't feel confident, or with people that I could necessarily trust or know would support me no matter what I said. And so anyway, of course, life has brought challenges and situations to me since I've started this podcast where I would really have to practice letting messages from my heart come out. And it's been hard, trying to speak with people who I know will be against what I have to say and who I know will shut down the messages that are coming from my heart, just like push back down everything that I'm trying to express, no matter how light and how bright it is and how much of just, a dream it is. Some people forget what it's like to dream, and that's something that hurts me a lot because I am such a big dreamer. I love to talk about dreams. I love to just imagine all the possibility and potential in any kind of situation. And so many people are afraid of that. So many people have stopped dreaming such a long time ago that they don't even want to let themselves dream, because maybe because their first ever dream was crushed and they were so disappointed that they stopped letting themselves do it because they didn't want to feel that the sadness of that disappointment again. I mean, I've definitely felt that. I think all of us have. And what kills me is when it just really stops people from even trying. Someone close to me recently even said, don't bother, stop dreaming. All you're gonna do is hurt yourself. All you're doing is hurting yourself with these dreams. And it's like, oh, so I'm not supposed to dream at all? Seriously? To me, that's just crazy. That's just why would you want to stop? But that, I feel like that's what one of the biggest problem with our world right now, and what stops change is when people are too scared to dream. Ils osent pas rêver. They don't even they don't take that chance of dreaming. And I just want to shake some people and say, well, just take a second here and really just let yourself dream. Just let some of that light shine in and just imagine what it could be like. It doesn't mean that because your life isn't really actually the way you might dream it is. It doesn't mean that someday it won't be. It doesn't mean that it's bad, but not seeing the potential isn't helping you. It's keeping you down in the dark. And it just, it breaks my heart to see how we do that to ourselves, to see how I do that to myself. It's so interesting as well, because as I have been starting to get to know myself better, a year ago, I discovered the magic of really recognizing inner seasons, teaching women that our cycles are actually are actually seasons. I remember my first ever job was actually to hand out samples of tampons in a Walmart. I was 15. And so I'm there. It was a job that was completely like by myself. The company sent, boxes of tampons to me and a sweater and said, okay, you're going to go meet this person at Walmart, set up everything alone and just give these samples out. And whatever samples you don't give out, you get to keep. So I was like, cool. And so I'm there like giving samples away, and I couldn't believe some women were actually mortified for me. Like they literally said, oh my God, like I could never do what you're doing right now, giving out tampons. Oh my God, that would be so embarrassing. And I'm like, really? Like this is just a normal part of life. Like who cares? But it shocks me to see like how disconnected and how shameful our periods are supposed to be still. I mean, this was some time ago, and I'd like to think that now we're starting to be more open about discussing our periods, but I think some people aren't. Anyway, I just want to say like it's totally normal, and actually being able to really look even deeper into what like our periods are for us is really a treasure. And it's so important, and I wish that we would talk about it more. I wish that like growing up that I had learned that the cycle of my period can actually help me if I pay attention to it. And so I'm bringing this up right now because I found someone who a year ago who compares our cycles to the seasons like in the outer world. Ever since I really started tracking my cycle and paying attention to what season I'm at every month, I can totally see and understand why I feel certain ways. Our society really values and idolizes women who are in their spring phase, like I'm in right now. And that's why I'm bringing this up, because I can see how, I don't know, I'm much more chatty right now. I'm like happier. And this is spring. And this is the version of women that the world prefers because we're like excited and happy, whatever. And I mean, sure, that's great, but winter is going to come around again every month. It always does. And, I used to beat myself up for it. I used to think, well, what's wrong with me? Like, am I depressed? Am I schizophrenic? Like, why does this sad feeling like always come back? Why do I always I just didn't understand at all. And I questioned myself all the time, and my down times were so down because I didn't understand them, and I was hating myself for it and thinking something was wrong with me. And all this time, if I would have known that's not the case, that that downtime is just because we are supposed to take downtime. It's okay to want to be alone during that time. It's okay to want to just hibernate and be by yourself and daydream and just take things slow. Like, it's totally normal. But our society acts like that should never be. Like, we just live in this straight linear world where, it should always be spring and summer, and we just try to pretend that winter and fall doesn't exist. Like, it just drives me crazy to think of all the time that I've wasted. And I'm not saying that winter is always easier now for me. Like, it's not always easy, that's for sure. But that's exactly what winter is supposed to be about. We're supposed to slow down, give ourselves space, like let ourselves cry, let ourselves like release. Like, that's what our period is about, it's releasing. Anyway, there are so many wonderful women who are out there spreading this message now and trying to teach women and girls the truth about who we are and all this secret magic information that's been kept from us for way too long. When I first started discovering this, I was so excited. I mean, I was kind of overwhelmed because I was just like, oh my God, there's this great wealth of information. Like, I felt like I found a treasure chest, and it was full of gold, and like I was like going through it all, and it just kept overflowing, and more kept coming. That's kind of how I feel throughout my whole journey especially since I unlocked that specific treasure box. It's just been abundantly overflowing ever since, and I keep finding more and more information that's helping me. And now I'm starting to finally reach out to people and to people, because I mean, we can find this information in books and we can keep to ourselves, and that's what I've been doing. But I'm ready to start actually speaking with others and meeting with others and asking for help. We're such a do-it-yourself kind of society. Like, we're so proud of being able to do everything ourselves, and it's okay to take a step back and realize that, we can't do everything by ourselves. Sure, if we really want to, maybe we can, but it might kill us in the end, because we can't do everything ourselves. Like, we just literally don't have the time or the resources. We can't do everything and be everywhere at once, and we don't know everything. And besides, a part of being human is that human connection and human interaction, and hearing each other's stories and learning from other people's pearls of wisdom and other people's experiences and stories. And so that's what I'm working on now, is starting to reach out in a different way than I have before, in a more soulful way, I guess I would say, from a more vulnerable place than I've done in a while. And it's quite liberating to start living your truth and being really authentic and sincere, no matter how scary that is. Sure, it's a risk that we take, but that's living, putting ourselves out there, despite the fact that, you can be ridiculed or laughed at for what you said, but who cares, because at least you said it, at least you didn't keep it bottled inside you, and you let yourself dream, you let it out, you let what excites you and what makes you happy. And from my experience, like from this past weekend, being with some people who I would call dream killers, I let my dream shine a little bit, and they actually started to dream a little bit themselves, and I saw how it really made people happy, Sure, they didn't agree with me, and they kind of laughed at me, but who cares, because I felt so much better expressing what was in my heart and letting it out. And I think in the end, it helped them too. It helped them shine a little brighter as well, and see a little bit of what was inside their own hearts. So that's good enough for me. Anyway, I'll leave it at that for today. I'm hoping that if you're listening to this, that you can let yourself dream a little bit and see where that takes you. Bye.